looking like that. I don't know nobody looking like that. I don't know nobody looking like that. I don't know nobody looking like that. Baby, baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool. Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? I don't wanna waste my time just stalling. I'm just being honest, you know that I'm falling. I'ma need some space just so we can get caught up. Let me set the pace just so you can get on it. Floating away into the day. We feeding up a charge, touch like a work of art, run like a fancy scar, running a case for hearts, tearing myself apart. Well, I'm just trying to keep my cool. I'm acting like a fool. I've gotta make it cool. What am I gonna do? I don't wanna waste my time just stalling. I'm just being honest, you know that I'm falling.
Oh, everybody's here. Everybody's here.
I like that song.
I know, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the first rhyme was with like Chardonnay, I was like, oh, this is great.
Thanks for killing the vibe, Patrick.
Yeah.
It's there somewhere. It's there. It's there.
Hey,
It exists.
can I point something out before we even start this episode? I've watched over the years, I've watched a lot of Adam Savage, but in the last couple of days, I've watched a couple of his things, and something has clicked with me. That is one of the most fidgety, scatterbrained geniuses I've ever seen. He'll do this
Yeah.
a ton, like just while he's trying to think, while he's talking, and then he'll like jump off on these little, he'll skitter around on these little like rabbit trails, and then has to like bring himself back. But he is constantly tapping things.
Sure. Do you think that is indicative of his desire to just go do stuff, or do you think it's a medical condition?
I think he's ADHD.
mean,
I think that's what it is. Or
I think that's good. A good
Yeah.
possibility. Makes sense.
hyperactive on the
That can
hyperactive
happen.
side.
Ahoy, hoy, hiya, we're not here. Hi, hello, hey. That's what a lot of
I
you
believe
say.
it's supposed to be read ahoy hoy. That's how Mr. Burns would say it
Ahoy, hoy.
when he answers the phone. Ahoy hoy.
Sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Venmin 711. Venmin 711.
Vecman.
Nope.
Man, it's fine. I know it's not. Okay, watch the video. I want to talk about it. It's fine. Okay, what was I saying that I was going to talk about on the show? You're correct. I'm assuming saying I was correct. We were just saying it, and then I was going to say a thing.
The video that you were describing to me?
No. There was something else that I went to say, and I was like, I'll just say it on the podcast.
Patrick, here's
this
all
was
that we
30
heard.
seconds
all
ago,
that
and
we
I
heard
have
was
not.
you go, hey, I'll talk about it on the episode. So
Yeah.
our
all I
only
did?
frame of reference is the word hey.
No, that's not going to be enough information.
Hey, why don't you tap your pencil a little bit? That helps Adam Savage.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
You still have that crappy pen, don't you?
What did I do? I think I threw it away. No, I wouldn't.
Did you? I was like, yeah.
You throw
right.
everything away. Of course you did. Come on.
No, but not this. This was special.
Not that crappy pen.
But I don't see it. I might have thrown it away. It's possible it's gone.
This is a good song too, man.
I
We
can't
have
even
the
hear it 'cause I turned
best
it off.
fans. We have the
You're
best fans. Our fans. By the way, for
I-
everyone who's
that
listening,
connected to the
these our listeners submit all of their own songs, and that's what we play pre and post show. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's not true. He throws everything
Could
away
be
on his
true.
computer, but
What do I
nothing in
know?
his podcast room. Huh. By the way, I don't know who that. Can we go ahead and mods? Can we ban that person? I don't
yes,
know who that is.
please. I've been
Pretty
trying
sure
to
she
get
is
her.
one.
I've been trying to get her banned for 10 years.
Okay.
She's gonna wonder if that's at least partially true. So afterwards,
Well-
she's gonna be like, "Does Andrew really not?" That's a joke. It's a joke.
Hey, did you update the title for the stream, by the way?
No, I can't update it until everything is like done.
Oh, do you mind updating that real quick?
I can't do that.
Okay. Then I'll update it.
How would updating it work?
It's in the top left corner.
Oh, I've never done it when we were live. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
know
can
that
do
was
it. You can
doable.
do it when you're live, is what I'm saying. And you have all the things.
The
So you can just like
categories.
copy paste your things in. You
That's
copy
true.
paste them
I'm a
in.
little concerned that my computer's not charging. We've got
that's
49
bad.
minutes.
Okay, let's go. Short
must jump in,
episode
that's
for
fine. But if you could just
go
update the
back to
title, that'd be great.
vacation.
I am updating the
Uh,
episode. right
this
now.
is vacation. Yeah, this is vacation week. Oh, because it's vacation week.
I did that the week before.
Ah,
You got a beer?
I will be having a drink while we podcast.
I love it.
That's my way of celebrating vacation.
Are you doing a staycation? Just hanging
No,
at
we
home?
did book a place. We took the time off of like several weeks ago, like a month ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
We took the time off, maybe like 6 weeks ago. But we never actually booked a place until today, even though it started today. But I want to say we did that because of like the thrill of like last minute and being unpredictable and like look how fun our spirits are. The truth is, I was overwhelmed with other stuff, and Mackenzie was like, "We have to book something now," and I was like, "Leave me
Yeah.
alone." Like I got work is crazy, and then taxes, and then it was just a bunch of yeah, exactly. It's not
You
really a
need-
we thing. It's more
you
of a
need
me
to go.
thing. But
You need to go now and copy that over into YouTube. Right?
yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. I'll do it later. I'll do it after the fact. But I appreciate it.
Okay. Well,
It's not that I don't love YouTube people, but I mean, I
Did
do.
you
I do love
decide
YouTube.
where are you going when you go? Now that you've decided.
Oh, we're going down to the Texas coast.
Nice. Get
they
some
call,
Specifically-
time.
they call it the Fost because it's a faux coast because it really isn't like.
Well,
Uh,
it's.
Port-
I mean,
Port
you're in the
A?
Gulf of Mexico, which is the ocean. So
Yeah,
You're in a
so
Gulf.
we looked at going to South Padre, but it's like a pretty long. Well, it's just a longer drive than anywhere else.
Yeah.
It might be like 4.5 hours.
you can
or
get to the
something
beach
from here.
faster from where you're at without going
And
there.
I also looked at going to Houston, staying in Houston, and then going down to like the Mission
Galveston or-
Control and stuff like
Yeah.
that because I love. Big fan of NASA. Big NASA fan.
Oh yeah.
Always had
Is that why you have
paraphernalia
me?
near me.
Is that why you have me call you Big Nasty?
I do, yeah, because it's NASA.
NASA. key.
But price wise, it just made more sense to go down to Port A. So more
Yeah.
golf talk from Patrick. So actually, it is golf and golf. I do love the pun, but where we're staying
Yeah,
does
it's
have a
not-
golf course as well. So
Like
Are
a
you gonna
goofy
actually
gaff?
go golf?
no, but I will
Oh,
go walk
what?
the course.
Then why do you know that they even have a golf course?
I did a
he's too
small
afraid-
amount of research.
He's too afraid to play with me without doing a scramble. There's no way he's playing by himself where a stranger might see him.
It's weird.
I feel like
because
then no one will see you. That would be like literally no one will see you.
I'm 6'7". I'm unseeable.
You're
But,
only
But like
seeable.
they're gonna be worried about their own golfing. They're like
I'm
if you're by
seeable, is
yourself,
what I'm
you're
trying to
spread
say.
out in the golf course.
I'm extremely seeable.
That's the reason I got kicked out of the golf course.
my computer's
They were just like that
charging
guy
now.
is too big. He has to go.
No, because I was spread out. Like
My
the
computer's
thing-
charging everybody. So we're
Okay,
Yay.
it's fixed. It's fixed. No, I there's one. I have one very strong feeling in my body that is This is my life, and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. I don't care about anybody else. You got your life. I get mine. Back off. All right. So that's a very strong motivating thing. And then I have another equally or maybe stronger feeling of,
Please love me.
yeah, like, accept the person please like the person I choose to be. I don't know. So somehow someone seeing me golf and be bad at it would be like devastating.
What if you're good at it? Like here's what
can't
if you're
even imagine.
what if you're actually good at it?
Can't even.
Then
imagine.
You
wouldn't-
just like
I can
you just
promise you-
innately have been picking all this up.
Part of me hopes you never play, because if you end up being good at it, then I will never hear the end of golf. Like,
By
if
the
you're
way,
actually good at it.
this sounds like I live in Georgia again. Hey, Pa. But not now.
There's one of them there squatches playing on the golf course.
Play mini
For
golf.
anybody
We
who's
did-
listening who's in the southern states, I do apologize if that offended you.
I thought that was pretty.
Oh, I'm not
accurate.
currently. I'm from the southern states. No, that is actually dead ringer for how my mom sounds. If you do it again,
I know.
I'm missing
I
her
was
right
channel.
now.
I was
Did
channeling
you do the
Carol.
voice?
I was channeling Carol. I was actually reading a text from her in her voice.
Yes.
Oh, perfect. That makes sense.
Foster's, American for Australian beer. Okay, is everybody ready to rock and roll? I think we are. Hey, audience, how you feeling? Put the hands up emojis if you're ready to rock and roll. Let's
I
see
don't know
them.
that they can actually
Now let's
do
wait.
that.
Let's wait 30 seconds for them to hear that.
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
we'll
It's
just
fine.
sit here quietly while we wait.
What is now? There's just a bunch of Cletus
I could
talk
see
going
my
back and
maw
forth.
from up here.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
maw,
Cody's
get
time.
off the dying roof. This is so stupid. Look at that. We got some hands in the air.
You know what?
As if they just
That,
do
I
not
would say
care.
that's 100% more than I expected.
Yeah. Hey, I believe in our crew.
We've got a lot
hey.
of hands. Yeah.
Will,
Yeah.
stay around.
Yeah,
You and I are
Patrick
gonna be
has
doing
already
something
said
after
he's
this.
cutting things short tonight so he can play Stardust Journey with you.
Stars.
Whatever.
I already told. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, but I'll save it. Go ahead.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 552 of the Pop Culture Roundtable, the podcast that most assuredly can pat its head and rub its stomach at the same time. In this episode, we talk about Ryan Gosling's SNL performance, Lego Star Wars news, and the architectural significance of the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. I'm Andrew Sale.
I'm Lauren Rubin.
I'm Patrick Hill.
So get ready for another magical whirlwind of a fresh podcast episode.
Or like a small breeze. Actually, Will, could you post on Slack?
I
That would
was
be
thinking
super
that. I'm like, how
helpful.
do I make a wind sound?
We have a microphone. It's actually really easy
Yes.
to make a wind sound in a mic. We like to kick off every episode by going around the table, which is where we talk about things that are new, fun, and noteworthy about our weeks. First and foremost, welcome back, Lauren. It's good to see your
Thank
face.
you.
Good to have you back in the pilot's
How many
chair.
weeks have you been gone?
Just the
Just
one.
one.
Just 1 week.
Oh, okay.
But it felt like 1,000.
Been 1 week.
Yeah, it did. It
Because
did feel
when
like
you aren't
many.
here, we have to do the show notes ourselves, and that feels like an eternity.
There's
It's
just
agony.
nothing to challenge my thinking when you're gone.
Hey, F you.
Actually, there's no
actually-
one for
Well, glad
Andrew
to
to
be
talk
back.
to because I'm not paying attention.
Okay, that's actually true.
That's definitely true.
So on that note, perfect segue. I'm going to start things off tonight because I saw a thing on Instagram today that I want to try with you, Patrick. I want to know how quickly we can do this. So this is called the same word game.
I
Same
hope
word.
it's ballroom dancing.
It's called the same word game. So, it's not ballroom dancing. Okay, so we're going to each think of a word, and we're going to say it at the same time.
All
okay.
three of us?
Where'd you go, Patrick?
He doesn't want to play.
I'm disappointed.
So you took your shirt off and okay. No, it's just gonna be Patrick and I. And then maybe you and Patrick can try it or whatever. But I wanted to try this specifically with Patrick. Because we've known
If
each other
I
for
try-
Why don't you send me the list of words and I'll read them and you guys.
it's not word no. No,
Okay.
it's just we're gonna try to we're each gonna think of a word right now. We're gonna say that word. It will likely not be the same word. But then we're gonna take that word that we say, and we're going to try to find something that those two words have in common, and we're going to try to say the same word then. And if it doesn't work then hopefully we'll be kind of narrowing the focus, getting further and further down until we do say the same word. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
But
It's
this
kind
sounds
of-
like an easy game to like steer, though.
Why?
Okay, if I say the word snip, you're gonna go to vasectomy from The Office quote. Like I know I can get you there. See what I'm
Okay,
saying? So like,
that's fine.
it seems steerable.
That's fine, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine. But what word would we then say after that? Office? Would we say vasectomy? Would we say
could.
Steve Carell? Like what?
Wait,
Like,
when does it end? Doesn't it end when you say the same word?
it does end when we say the same word. It does
Okay,
end when
go.
we say it. So I don't know what words you're getting ready to say. You don't know what word I'm getting ready to say. We're gonna both say a word at the same time.
And
We're
it's
gonna
just
then
gonna
try
be
to
the
see-
same word.
We're then going to try to see what word we can say that connects these two words and see if we can guess that correctly. It's essentially like connections, but verbally, right? Like we're gonna try to pare it down to the same word.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so there we go. There we go. This must be a trend that's happening right now because I saw it on Instagram today and they were playing at Creative South. Okay.
Sure.
Do the rules make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna pick a word in count us in, Lauren. You kind of send from like 3.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Tree.
Lorcana.
Okay, so now we have tree and Lorcana. Now we've got to try to figure out the same word that connects those two things, and we're gonna say
It
a
doesn't
word.
exist.
Okay.
We've already
Patrick,
lost.
Why are you breaking this game? Just
I'm not
pull-
breaking this game. I like. There's no
kind of just
word that could
refusing to
possibly
play.
connect those. I'm not refusing.
You
to
are
play.
refusing to play. You have to then think of a word that can possibly connect those two things.
But
Okay.
does it have to be a word that I think you're going to say?
It
Not
just needs to
necessarily.
be a word. We're gonna try to get to the same word.
You're definitely
Stop-
overthinking this
Yeah,
game.
stop overthinking it. This is the most simple rule.
I'm
that
usually
you're
the
having a hard time
overthinker,
with.
Patrick. Just play.
Okay.
Just play the game.
All right, go ahead.
She's gonna have to count us in. Lauren, are you counting us in?
She's gone.
Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
it.
Sorry.
Just bye, Lauren.
3, 2, 1, go.
Robin
Deck.
Hood. What did you say?
Deck. They're made out of trees.
So you're still thinking, okay. So you said deck, I said Robin Hood. Okay.
Well, Lorcana has a deck. Decks are made out of trees. It's a perfect
That's what I was
double.
thinking. It was like paper. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Card.
Nottingham.
Come on, you piece of shit.
I'm going the tree direction towards Robin Hood. Robin Hood. With a-
Okay. Come on. I think
All
we
right.
can go from
What
here. I think
did
we got
you
this.
say?
I said card.
And I said,
You said Nottingham.
okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, ready?
3, 2, 1, go.
Little John.
Location.
Okay.
Because in Lorcana, there's locations now.
Yes,
3,
you're right.
2, 1, go.
We
I
hang
haven't
on,
had-
we
hold
didn't-
on, that's too
Oh,
fast. That's fast.
We need a second. Hang on. Okay, so
Patrick is overthinking, and Lauren wasn't paying attention.
this is a total flip of what we normally
What
do.
did you just say?
Okay, I didn't say anything. I paused. And so
No, but
you,
what did you say before that? I said
you
location.
said location, and I said Little John.
Okay, got it.
Okay. 3.
Easy.
Oh,
3,
sorry.
2, 1, go.
Bear.
Toilet.
You're
A
oh, 'cause of-
location. A Little John would be a toilet, which is a location.
You're the
Tiny
worst.
toilet.
You're the worst.
Okay, no, I fully get it.
Okay.
I fully get it.
So
Hold
I
one
said,
second. One second.
I said bear, and you said toilet.
It's
There's
so
a really
weird.
obvious connection right now. If you
There's
think
a
of those
really
two things.
okay. Go it. Do it. do
Wait,
it, do
what?
it.
There's a really obvious one.
100%.
Yes.
Lauren and I would get this
Yes,
right now.
okay.
Go ahead.
Me and Patrick are ready
You
to go.
and
Count
Patrick
us
do it.
down.
You and
Count us
Patrick
count
down.
down.
3, 2, 1, go.
Charmin.
Charmin.
Yes.
Easy.
Oh my gosh! Wow. And that's how that game is played. It's a fun game, right? Now that you
Yes.
understand the
That was
gist of
funny.
it.
But Chad, can you say who was better at that game, me or Andrew? Thank you.
There's not a
I
better.
mean, technically, Lauren was the best because she only went one time and got it.
Yeah, she got it in the first one.
Oh my god.
I would say that this game is one that we could definitely play. Like, it's a good time waster. If you have to like,
It's a good like party game too. 'Cause
yeah,
you can just like
it's a
you don't
good
need
party
cards or anything to play.
Okay. Here we go.
Thanks. Thanks, Doc.
So I didn't really do a ton this week. It's been kind of a weird week. Not bad, but just weird. But I did find a guy who can and wants to purchase maybe the bulk of my like toy and collectible collection.
That's
Not
great.
the art, but the toy and collectible collection. This is his card. You see how it's got a purple Reptar on
Culture
it?
shock.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's called Culture Shock Vintage. And I talked to him. He pretty much sells Kid Robot blind box figures. He sells old Star Wars figures, and he sells old Ninja Turtle figures. I'm like, well,
Oh, that's perfect.
I got stuff.
Does he have
so
a
I've
brick
got
and mortar, or is it like a eBay, Facebook, something?
No, it's so brick and mortar in theory, but it's really more of a wire and hanger because it's in a flea market
It's in a
type
chicken
setting.
coop.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So it's like
Yeah.
it's essentially like a glorified like vendor booth that he has at what is now essentially a defunct mall in San Antonio. There just happens to be a game store there. Yeah. I don't care what he does with it. If he gives me
No,
money
it was
for
just
it,
honestly just sounded funny.
fine with me. So, but I did. He gave me his card, and I said, okay, I'll email. He wants me to email, or he wanted me to send him pictures of the stuff so that he could give me a rough estimate, and then see if there's stuff that he wants. And if he does want it, I'll bring it out there to him, drop it off, and then he'll estimate it and do all that stuff. He gave me his card. Told me that he wanted me. He does best by texting. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And then I looked at his card. Look at how he does his Facebook. His Facebook link.
Oh no! Oh
It is the
no!
full link with
Parameter
everything.
list.
Every
Yeah,
yeah.
parameter list, the whole thing.
Listen,
just,
y'all. Hey, for people putting in URLs, if you see a URL and there's a question mark in it, that's the beginning of like a parameter list.
I will be honest. I learned that from you. Like I
Yeah,
didn't.
99 out of 100 times, you do not need that for the link to function. Just if you see a question mark, delete that and everything after it.
That has been super helpful for me. And yeah, you taught me that a couple years ago, and it's been a really helpful thing. So this guy, again, like he needs a little help, but if he has money and he wants to pay me money to get rid of these collectibles, then I'm all for it. So hopefully next week I'll have connected with this guy and all of that jazz.
Awesome.
One of the things before I do this, I wanted to make it available to our community because we have a community full of collectors as well. But this guy, I decided I just don't have room for him anymore. So I am going to be putting my Hot Toys Mandalorian and Grogu Deluxe figure up for sale. If this seems like something that you would, he's in the box. Everything is pristine as is most of everything
I
that I own.
accept. Thank you.
If anybody is interested in him before this week is out, drop me a note. Either if you have my phone number, you can text me or drop me a note in Slack. Let me know you're interested, because if you're interested, this community has first dibs on it before I put it out there to the main people. So anyway, besides that, I think that's it. I have a lot to say for my master category, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to hand it over to Lauren.
Nice. Thank you.
I have
Yeah?
forgot and re-remembered that thing 3 times so far.
Write it
Lauren,
down.
continue. No, I will not write it down.
Do you want to go right now?
No,
just
you
go.
go.
It's fresh in your brain.
I
Go.
like the danger aspect of you going and seeing if I still remember it.
Okay.
So
All right.
continue.
I'm rooting for you.
I'm just
All right.
adding anxiety to everybody else in the room for this.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So, I've been gone for a week, but it was my birthday week. So it's kind of like vacation for me. I took a few days off work and I hung out with my friends, went to a concert, all that good, fun stuff. Went and saw Dodie Frere, which we talked about a little bit. He's one of the
yeah.
Eurovision guys that we love. It was such a fun concert. Like he had traveled from Austin to Houston, like in between our shows at the end. And like, he wrote a song about Buc-ee's. So it made everyone happy.
Oh, I bet.
It was just like a really good show. Like, I feel like everybody was just like smiling there. It was just like all fun times. So that was just
Who is Bunky?
Bucky.
The beaver?
Yes.
I see. Okay.
Yes. I was like, don't pretend you don't know about Bucky.
Oh, he knows. He knows.
I was like, we'll have to like a mob of people
His
will like, show
body
up at your
is
house.
70% buck
Beaver
nuggets.
nuggets. Yeah.
Buck nuggets.
I call them buck nugs, but yeah, beaver nuggets for sure.
So good. Okay, so then I've also been catching up on lots of TV shows. So I'm gonna go for two totally opposite shows that I both watched season 2 of this week. So um I'll just pick one of them first. So I went and watched Bridgerton season 2 because there's just like nonstop ads for season 3, and I was like, oh, I don't think I ever even watched season 2. So it kind of prompted me to go back, remembering that the show exists, because I feel like the thing that happens with Bridgerton is it is a good show, but like I will binge it and then just forget that it exists in between seasons because it's like this was fun and that's all I needed, like it's one of those shows. But I did really like it. Season 2 is fun. It's just such a pretty show to look at. Like the costumes and the sets are so gorgeous. The music is fun. Andrew, what's your question?
Is season 2 as sexual as season 1? I feel like I've heard it's
No,
not.
it wasn't.
Okay. So that's
I
why
don't think
Patrick
so.
hasn't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no need.
Okay.
And the season-
Unfortunately, to be
The
real, but
season
yeah.
3 trailer just came out this week, right? Or this past
Yes,
week?
exactly. And I kept seeing it like that and like clips and everything everywhere, and I was like, oh, I need to like watch season 2, and it's pretty good. I think season 1 was better because like the mystery that you have of like
Yeah.
trying to figure out who Lady Whistledown is like during the season also is like a great added like story element, and you already know going into season 2, so it's kind of just the kind of usual Regency type story, which is fine and it's fun, but like it's a little less original, I think, than the first season felt. And
I'm not sure I finished season 1 because I don't remember who Lady Abigail is. Lady Bridgerton? What's her name?
Whistledown is like
Lady
the
Whistledown.
pen
Sounds
name.
like you
Yeah.
might not have seen the show at all.
Maybe are we talking about The Walking Dead?
Yes. That's
No,
called
'cause
Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Actually, it's great.
Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I would actually watch that like at like more probably than Bridgerton. Like if they just did a season like that.
Okay.
It would be great.
I feel like I maybe haven't finished this season because I don't remember who the reveal was. And I had guesses as to who it was, so I must not have finished it.
Well, you'll have to finish it now. Or do you want to try and guess who it is, like from what you remember now?
I
'Cause
just
it's-
called
it's-
her
I feel like
Lady
it's happened
Abigail.
a long time ago.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
But yeah, it's just one of those shows that's like, oh, I just like this show. It's good.
Can
So
I
then
let
like
you know that I guessed correctly on like episode 3? I just want you to
that's
know
right.
that.
I remember talking to you about this because
We
you
talked
had
about
me
it.
guess about it ahead of time when I
Yeah,
watched it
and I
because you had watched it
killed it.
before I had.
Let me poll my wife.
Against my will.
Let me poll my wife. Becca, have I finished season
You're gonna phone
1?
a friend.
Yeah.
Have I seen season 1 of Bridgerton?
Drop the answer in the chat if
We
I've
talked
seen
about the
any of this.
reveal on the podcast when it happened.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think we did
Okay, fair enough.
collectively. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
now that you said you don't think so, now suddenly I feel like we didn't.
Yeah.
That's not true.
But yeah, so looking forward to season 3 when that comes out in about a month. The trailer does look really good, so just a fun show, I think. And then just completely opposite. There's no connection to why I watched these two things, but it just also is a coincidence that it's season 2 of both of these. I watched the second half of Invincible season 2 because that's all out now. They
It's a
made
very
that
Mark
different
big
Wahlberg story.
mistake of splitting up the season this year. I don't know why they did that. It did like just kind of killed the momentum that they had going. And I think that the story they had in the second half like connected so much to what happened in season 1 that like there's a part where the guy's like, who are you? And I'm like, wait, who is this person? Like, I don't remember everything anymore.
Okay,
Like-
Lauren, welcome to the world of watching TV for everyone who's not you. You managed to capture and remember characters and actors' names like no person I've ever like. You're the Rain Man of pop culture. And I
Who's Rain
don't
Man?
I don't get it.
Oh,
Raymond, the guy from-
Rayman.
Rain
I
Man.
remember.
Yeah, like
everybody
Dustin
loves
Hoffman.
Rain Man.
Rayman of pop culture.
But that's how I feel watching shows that I'm very invested in. When someone shows up, I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, who are you? I don't know. That's me
I think-
always.
I think some of the Invincible stuff kind of goes in one ear and out the other with me because it's so a spoof of so many things and so many levels that it's like, oh wait, it's not Justice League. It's like the spoof of like whatever their Batman guy is named. Like I don't remember everyone's names exactly. But I did think like some of the like fights in the second half are like so thrilling. Like I could not sit down and like just watch it. I had to I was like squirming, like freaking out that like everyone was like just getting their butts kicked.
Because they
And
were so visceral and violent, or they were exciting to watch?
both.
Okay.
Both completely. There's stuff that was so gross that I literally was just like, no, and like walked away for a second. And then
For our listening audience, Lauren just looked like she got swept up in a tornado.
yeah. There's definitely like one character death like in this season that I'm like, I probably will never get that out of my head. It is so disturbing, but it is just kind of on par with what this show does, where it's like, like a lot of the shows, like, what if this happened? Because like all those like joke debates people have about superheroes, but then they like make it happen, and it's horrifying most of the time. But I think the second half was like very captivating. Just keeps doing what they do well of this like hyper violent superhero spoof, and it's so surprising that they still managed to make their story feel fresh considering how many things that it is spoofing at the same time. But man, it is very good. So highly recommend both of those shows. Bridgerton and Invincible season 2 are out now. They are complete opposites.
Not at the same time.
Yeah.
But recommend.
Hey, if you that's what
Do
I did
one
this
episode
weekend.
of each back to back. Just
Yes, that would. I
boop,
think there's
boop,
8 of
boop.
each, so that would work perfect.
Perfect. That is wonderful.
I feel like you would have the weirdest dreams, but maybe like it would be a best-selling book.
Hey, it's worth a shot.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me this week. Yeah, Patrick, do you
Sure.
remember what you were going to talk about?
No, I already forgot, but I do remember.
I knew it. I tried to help you.
No. I do actually remember. Wow, I'm getting golf news updates from my wife while I'm podcasting. This is the life we live. I love this. And that's crazy if that's true. Okay, sorry. Anyway, no, it was Star Citizen. I was talking about Star Citizen before. I'm going to cut this podcast short, inevitably, because I need to go finish playing. So this week is vacation time. And when I'm on vacation, I have to say the full word. People that say vacay are psychotic.
It's true.
When I'm on vacation, I will not have access to my PC to play Star Citizen. And the server reset is going to happen at any point. And when that happens, all progress will be lost. And so I have to play tonight.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To
You
try
better
to
get
hit
more
this
progress.
milestone.
That's still going to be deleted?
It's going to be deleted.
But I'll still get to experience the thing I've been trying to get to before it gets deleted. So that's where my head is at right now.
Won't you be able to try again as soon as it's deleted?
But then I have to start from the beginning. Now I have some form of momentum. I'm like
you
at the
leave
finish line.
tomorrow, or do you leave the day after?
Tomorrow.
Okay. Good.
So I'm gonna get there
Clock
tonight.
is ticking.
Gotta
And
get there
we all
tonight, yeah.
know that you go to bed by 10 o'clock. So good luck.
Yeah.
Have you been staying up late to play?
No, his
No.
body can't stay up.
Well, I don't know.
incapable.
Like sometimes, like video
way-
games are, like the one time I'm like I did stay up till like dawn playing Mario or whatever. Like
the
when the
way
new
that
Zelda
it,
came out, I stayed up so late. Like
Will does the work for me, and then he gives me my allowance. It's kind of how it works. So like
He's your sugar daddy.
Will
Like,
has been
what?
staying up late, putting in the time, and then Will cuts me a check when I jump on. So I've more kind of been benefiting from his lack of social life a little bit.
Will, I'm so glad that you're a loser, because that
No.
makes me have
Will
more
is,
fun
Will
in my
is
game.
not a loser. If Will was to find another friend, it would impact my ability to progress in Star Citizen. But
So it
you're lucky
behooves
we
you
don't
to-
have D&D this
It
week. Like
behooves you to keep him on your good side, is what you're saying.
no, but I like Will, and even without Star Citizen, Will and I would hang out. It
Are you
just so
sure?
happens that I also
Need him.
I benefit more in this relationship currently. That's kind of what the setup is.
Will, this is what we call a non-symbiotic relationship. This is a
Parasitic.
parasitic relationship. And if you were dating Will, I would urge you to maybe reconsider your relationship status.
Yeah. Will is cool. And Doc especially knows how cool Will is because I'm pretty sure they sat in the car with each other for like 8 hours this week. So
then
I'm sure they
if
have
that's
tons of time.
true, then Doc would know that Will actually runs a little hot.
Like, in what way?
His body temperature, he is just a little bit hotter than normal people.
You noticed that last time he was here?
Well, when we spooned.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, if you're the big spoon in that situation, what would that make Will?
the little spoon.
The baby spoon. He's my little baby spoon. That's why I
I
call
think
him my
that's
little
how that
like-
works. If you're not the big spoon, you're the little spoon, unless there's an extra person involved.
What do you call the spoon that like a baby would eat Gerber with?
a baby spoon.
Yeah.
He's like the baby.
He's my baby spoon. Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, clip that. All right.
I feel like you're doing the latest episode of Game Changer where you're like trying to force him to say baby spoon for some reason. Like,
Yeah.
The entire beginning of this episode was him trying to force me to say words.
Patrick gets $3 from somebody every time I say baby spoon.
Yeah. I have to also get you to say spaghetti, but I'm going to work on that later.
Good luck trying to get me to say spaghetti.
Outside of that,
bingo.
That's the bingo.
this was Masters week, which was very exciting. We had a Masters party of sorts. The
I
party
saw your
went
picture. It looked awesome.
from very chill to very, very loud, and then back to very, very chill. That was kind of the bell curve of the party. In terms of golf, I would say there was a few very, very exciting holes, and then like the final 7 holes, like it's kind of wrapped up. We knew where it was going, but that was fine. It was still enjoyable. Great cast of crew, some good storylines out there. Yep, exactly. So great watch for the Masters. Here's the kind of contentious part, though. I like the Masters branding. And Andrew, you have a slightly different opinion on it.
It's true.
Would you like to unpack that, which is probably what would normally happen in this situation?
I don't know. Did you want me to? This is your time.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
no comment.
So I maintain that it is the best looking major, but also golf tournament in terms of branding. I think it looks very timeless and classic, not just the color choice, but also like the iconography and stuff that they choose to use. I do think every now and then they bring in some, like, it's mostly flat, and every now and then they bring in some 3D elements, which I find odd. But outside of that, I think it's a very, very nice. You had a slightly different take on this.
Yeah, only slightly. I agree with some of what you're saying. It might be the best. It might be the best visuals and branding for a major that they have. That's fine. I'm not going to contest that. I don't know enough about the other majors to be able to speak to that. They probably have a lot more money than the other majors, so that makes sense. But my issue is I don't think the logo is timeless. I think the logo looks like it was. I don't know when the logo was created.
It looks
But
old.
It does look old.
Really?
But what I
Yeah.
think, I don't think it's timeless, because a timeless logo means it doesn't need to be changed. However, this logo, I do think the kerning on it is just a little too broad. If you and I think I told you yesterday, I think, like I said, if you tightened the kerning by like 15 or 20% and brought the mark in just a little bit, just the word mark in a little bit, it would be exponentially better in my mind. And then it would become more timeless, something like a Titleist logo or something like that, where very little has changed, very little margin has changed, or marginally has been changed over the years. That's my only deal. And then I said, as far as the visuals on the actual, for the Masters this year, like all of like the on-screen visuals, I think they went too flat, which made it feel a little too cheap. There were no drop shadows, there were no anything like that. And I think if they had added just a little bit of texture to the on-screen graphics, it would have added some elegance to it. Even if the texture just made it look like the pulpy, like toothy paper of an actual scorecard, that would feel vintage, that would feel elevated. But as it were, it was just green and yellow and white flat boxes on top of each other.
The thing I
Yeah.
found most surprising, by the way, on that note, is that some green and yellow has plenty of contrast, but there were versions of green and yellow or yellow and white that they were using. There was very low contrast, enough that I'm surprised that they would even choose to broadcast it. Just because, like, I think the legibility or the readability was pretty poor. I did share a link, by the way, which is the first pamphlet on which the Masters logo appears. And you can kind of see it there. You can compare it to the new one and kind of see what the difference
That's
is.
the icon mark. That's not the logo.
No, but the Masters mark is still there as well. Yes, the icon is there,
Yes.
but the script is still very similar for the actual where it says Masters.
Where are you seeing that?
It's right
link
above
you
the
put in
icon
chat.
mark.
No, it says Augusta National Golf Club.
Yeah, but I think it's the script for Augusta is what they use for the word masters.
Sure, that's fine, but the mere use of different lettering is going to change the layout of the logo. So like yes, that's the same font or the same font styling, but the different words you use are going to make a difference. So like you might need to adjust the S, the kerning of an S if it's paired with a T versus an S if it's paired with an A. Like that. My point is, it doesn't feel like someone has just kind of taken the last 10 minutes to just bring it all together.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. One more thing, and we're not going to solve this now, but we're going to talk about this at the end of the show. I want everyone to start thinking about the weirdest movie you've seen, and we're going to recap those at the end of the show because I want to know yours. But that's it for me.
I instantly know what that is.
Where did that come from? Okay. Is there something that I missed, or is this something that's happening in your head that's going to come out later?
It was a conversation that happened. It was a conversation that happened on Sunday, yesterday.
Okay, so it's not something that happened in chat that I just didn't see.
No. But I know what mine are, and I am interested to see how Chad answers that question.
Okay, cool, great. All right, well then I think that's going to be it for our Around the Table. Up next, we're going to talk about some master categories. The master categories each week, and when we talk about the dice we rolled the week before, those dice gave us our categories. We pick our topics based on those categories. And if you heard a little bit of a stumble during that, that's because I just bit the F out of my lip.
Oh,
Nice.
no.
Oh, there's blood. I can taste it already.
No.
It tastes irony.
That hurts. It just hurts so much.
Okay. Well, the thing
It
is,
tastes of iron.
of
irony.
Yeah, I can just taste the irony.
Okay.
I bit my lip while I was sleeping last night, which
does
once
that
you bite it
happen?
once, you're inevitably going to bite it at least 2 or 3
Yeah, because
more
it's
times.
like swollen.
I did
Were you
it once
dreaming
during
about like
dinner.
a donut or something?
I don't know what I was dreaming. No, it was not as nice of a dream as a donut would have been.
Okay.
But then I bit it during dinner, and I just bit it a third time. So hopefully the law of threes says that that's done. Anyway, last week we rolled our dice, and Lauren wasn't here to tell us what they are, to tell us what the categories were. So we found those out over the course of the week. And guys, I'm excited for us to talk about our categories. I feel like we got some good ones this week. So Lauren, why don't you kick us off?
All right. Yeah, sure. So I got front page, and literally when I opened anything on my phone this morning, like I was inundated with clips from Ryan Gosling's SNL hosting gig that happened this weekend. I think by far the most popular one is the Beavis and Butthead one, which was absolutely hilarious. Like, it's also funny to me because I watched it twice because I knew we were going to talk about it. And I'm like, is this reference like so old that it's still funny just because they look so absurd? Like, because even just looking at them is funny, even if you have no context of who Beavis and Butthead are. Like,
Yeah, you watched it, right? Like you saw the whole thing.
definitely, yeah.
I felt like the first 90% of that sketch was great, and then the last 10 where they started laughing like them,
Yeah, because
like
it was
jumped
funnier
the
that
shark.
it's an accident. Yeah.
It jumped the shark right there at the end, but good lord, the first 80-90% of that, I was like, this is great.
It was just so funny and
And
stupid.
that none
Like,
of the actors could keep it together because they just looked so ridiculous.
when they I don't even remember which actor was dressed as Butthead because the transformation was so complete that they became a new person. But like
Patrick, wouldn't you? You know
when
the actors' names.
the host, like
Mikey
when she
Day.
turned around and
It was Mikey Day. It was Mikey Day.
It
Yeah,
was?
it's Mikey Day.
Okay,
Mikey Day
okay.
is who was
Wow.
playing
Butthead.
Butthead, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't want to get it
because it
backwards,
really
but
was like a new person, like Butthead emerged.
With his like cleft lip.
Yeah, like I was like, did they like pin his lip? It was so funny. Like the fact that no one could even look at him though without laughing, I think just was like just hilarious. Like there was a lot of giggling throughout this whole episode, which I think always makes me laugh too when they break, honestly. Like it's just funny. Like especially when they're just like that. Like the gag is just that they look stupid and everyone is laughing.
As long as it's not forced. I do feel like sometimes a host, especially like a guest host, will, if they feel like the sketch isn't going where they want it to go, they'll break. Like,
oh no! I feel like
I
this was all real. Like when they did the one with
100%.
the engagement,
think
and he
that?
just Ryan Gosling made some sound that I don't think I could ever replicate. Where he was trying not to laugh and like swallowed it and made
Yep.
just like honking sound.
Yeah.
Like that was real. There's no way a person would do that on purpose
Yeah.
on live TV.
I want to make a note real quick for anybody trying to watch these on YouTube. They cut in bits of the dress rehearsal into the final videos. So things like the audio, they'll go through and censor some things. Like there have been cases in the live show where, okay, here's one example. There was an episode where like two people were supposed to appear nude, and they forgot to do the censoring when they showed it live, and so these people, you could just see them wearing like skin-colored clothing, and then in the YouTube video they literally go in and add in the censoring. There's times they remove jokes. There's times that they swap lines for the dress rehearsal lines because someone
That's interesting.
broke during the live show but not during the dress, and they use the dress one. So I should say, like, if you want to watch this and you haven't seen it, I encourage you to try to find a like recorded episode of it to watch.
Yeah, I was like, I did
And
watch
don't just
on Xfinity.
Don't just watch the official clips on YouTube because they are slightly different.
I will
good
say
to
though,
know.
there's an absurd amount of commercials during SNL. Like,
Well,
they
got all
get
the-
ya.
They have all those
Mhm.
sets and things they got to switch over.
I mean, it's fair, but when you are not watching on YouTube, I was like, wow, this is a lot of commercials.
I think outside of Beavis and Butthead, which was Ryan Gosling, whenever he's on the show, like he goes all in on the characters, but he
Yes.
also has a tough time keeping it together.
Yeah.
And I think because he so goes all in, it makes it funnier for everyone else involved, which is why this like tends to keep happening. But there was a skit where by the end of this sketch, they're showing a guy that makes like crumbled cookies.
That was
And
so funny.
They're like trying to feed it to Ryan Gosling. And I did not realize that Ryan Gosling refuses to eat food on camera. He won't do it because he says he's afraid it'll become a meme and like people will turn it into other stuff. So whenever he is asked to eat something, he covers his face. And so during that sketch, he kept covering his face every time that Bo and Yang would try to feed him. And so learning that and then going back and watching that sketch, it made it much funnier than seeing it for the first time and not understanding that.
I think that's where
I thought that was funny.
I
Anyway.
think that's where the meme came from, where people are trying to feed Ryan Gosling
The
like,
cereal?
during the movies, and
Oh.
he would turn his head away. I think that's where that meme came from.
Oh, I get
I
it now.
had like forgotten
but
about
I did
that.
not
That's
get
funny
it.
though. Yeah.
think
I
it-
guess I don't blame him. Like,
I think my favorite line from
as a
that
celebrity.
my favorite line from the Beavis and Butthead one was when Ryan Gosling goes, "Who, me?" And he goes, "Yes, the one with the blonde pompadour."
I love in both cases where they look around and they're like, "It's you, right?" Yeah.
It's kind of amazing because everyone else played it straight. Like everyone else kept it together except for Beavis and Butthead, obviously, and then what's I'm
woman.
blanking on
I can't
her
think
name
of her
right
name
now,
either,
yeah.
but I
She
don't
lost
know.
it.
Yeah.
She lost it more than I think anyone has lost it since like the Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon days. where they
Heidi Gardner, right? Is that who
Yes,
it was?
that's
Was
it,
that
that's
Heidi
it,
Gardner?
that's correct.
Okay, yeah.
She just went completely. She just went off completely.
Yeah. I love that they got Kate McKinnon back to do the alien autopsy one
I
because that
haven't
one's
seen
always
one
funny.
yet. I saw a quick clip and I wanted to watch the whole thing, so I stopped.
It's
watching
also especially funny now because like I know that they made the joke of like in the monologue about like he's not Ken anymore or whatever, but it's still like, oh, weird Barbie and Ken variant in this opening sketch. Like could not help but think that.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
Because like there was no connection before, but now there is. And then I also loved like you posted this on the Slack, and this wasn't like part of the main episode, but the fact
Yeah.
that they did a Papyrus too, which is my maybe favorite SNL skit of all time, is the Papyrus one, like because that is like designer realness.
It sets up this big like Batman versus Joker standoff, which is incredible. I have no idea why that wasn't put in the final episode. So
I think it's too long. It is a pretty lengthy sketch. They would have probably had to
6.5 minutes or 7
but
minutes.
it's so good. It's so funny.
There were some promo photos of Ryan Gosling for this week. Actually, they weren't even promo photos. Someone just shot him on the street, and he was wearing like that red jacket.
Mhm.
And so so I was expecting that, and the episode happened, and like that outfit never popped up in the episode, and it was so confusing to me. Like, where did these photos come through? And it wasn't until I think the next day that I saw someone posted that link, and then realized like, oh, it's from this thing. But
Yeah.
That was
that was my favorite of all of the stuff that they showed. Even more to me funnier than the Beavis and Butthead one. But I think that original Papyrus one is just so good that the fact that they did a continuation is instantly awesome.
Did you think he was going to shoot him though?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I thought like
it's
the
so
red
weird
suit
to
made
me.
me think of the Joker, So like, is that what they're going for? Because like, I think the new trailer just came out, So like,
oh my gosh,
that was just really good stuff. But yeah, I haven't really been keeping up with much of SNL this season otherwise, but this was a very funny episode. I was laughing a lot.
yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to that thing that has been said in the past, which is that the writers will save their best material for guests that they know are going to bring in a larger audience, a larger draw, or that they know will like do it justice. And so when you have someone like Ryan Gosling on, then the writers are going to pull their kind of top shelf material or the thing they've been sitting on for a year. And it really comes through in the episode. The last 2 episodes have been the strongest episodes that we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I believe that that's 100% true and it's smart. Do you think we'll see Alec Baldwin again on SNL anytime soon?
Good question.
Because he's one of the best. He's one of the best hosts that they have.
He's kind of wrapped up in this whole Rust trial right now.
That's right.
I understand. I'm just saying in general, do you think we'll see him again?
Yeah, I
I don't think it's off the table in any way. It just might be a while.
I don't think that Lorne or the people at SNL would be opposed to having him around, and in fact, I think he's been on SNL. I'm pretty sure he's been on at least once, even if it was just for a cameo, since the incident happened on the Rust set. So I don't think that would keep him away. It does seem like SNL tends to pull from who's there that week. So, like, there's a lot of cameos that happen, I think, out of convenience.
Yeah.
So
because other people are on press tours, they just happen to be in New York.
They're filming for a movie, or they're on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
or they're doing whatever. So I think there's a convenience to it, and so I think it's going to be largely dependent on that. And then, of course, like, there's specific characters that people play and that are recurring characters, and if that character isn't, they have another Trump character, so they don't need Baldwin or whoever to come in and do that. So it's probably less likely, but I don't think he would be kept away just because of the Rust situation.
I don't think we're going to see any more Trump impersonations on SNL because he's kind of just out of the news now.
I mean, like, until the election starts.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, I should mention that Andrew's TV broke last week.
Oh, yeah, I see.
I'm speaking into existence the truth I want for my life.
Oh, yeah. If only. Let's live in that universe, please.
I am, if you can speak it and you believe it hard enough, then anything can happen. That's what I've heard.
That's not true, but continue.
Okay. Was that your whole thing, Lauren?
Yeah, that's my whole thing. That was a great episode of SNL. Who wants to go next?
I would love to go next. I'm going to talk about, I got architecture and I got past architecture. And at first you might think, well, what the heck? But then I'm like, well, here's the heck. I'm actually reading a book right now for my Whiskey and Wise group that works perfectly with this. It's actually driven me down this rabbit hole to learn a whole bunch of stuff. And that book is called The Devil in White City. And if you don't know, like I didn't know what White City is what Chicago, a particular part of Chicago, specifically the Jackson Park part of Chicago, was named. It was kind of what it was colloquially dubbed as the White City because it was built for the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. And so if you don't know anything about the Chicago World's Fair, let me tell you a few things about it that I've learned that are absolutely incredible. So the reason it was called White City is because all these buildings that were built up for the World's Fair were painted, like it was all stucco, and all of it was painted pure white. And so the whole thing was meant to kind of communicate this opulence or this sense of just elegance. Everything was supposed to be very clean, especially in contrast to the rest of the city of Chicago, which was actually dubbed Black City, mostly due to the industry and due to the Great Chicago Fire that had happened only a couple of decades.
Literally from soot.
Literal soot coated parts of the city, and so dubbed as Black City, and so White City being like in like pure contrast to that. And the book is incredible because it deals not only with so it's called The Devil in White City, because it also deals with the first known American serial killer. And those two things happen to coincide. They actually overlap. And so you're learning in this book about the history of how the World's Fair came to be, and you're learning the backstory of all that. But it's kind of intertwining the story of H.H. Holmes, who was, like I said, one of the first, or he's the first American serial killer. He's actually only predated by a couple of years. He was essentially a contemporary of the Whitechapel killer, which, as you may or may not know, is Jack the Ripper. So that's what's happening over in London around this same time.
Yeah.
And people in Chicago, New York, and all the cities over in the United States are watching this go on, and they are living in this kind of world where they're eagerly awaiting news about Jack the Ripper and these horrible murders that are happening over in Whitechapel in London. Meanwhile, in their own backyard, there's somebody who's doing the same thing. He is a doctor, and he is his story is wild. Like, he built a hotel that was right off of the main fair plaza, and it was called the World's Fair Hotel. And he had a room built in his hotel that was a vacuum sealed vault where he would keep his victims, and he would then inject poison, or he would inject chemicals into this room to ultimately kill them. What he would do after he would kill them is because he was a doctor, he had these connections. He would send the bodies in a trunk via the post mail to this other guy who's called an articulator. And articulators are people who would skin the bodies, make the bones. They would take the bones of the bodies and reattach them. And those would be then sold to medical doctors, to colleges, to universities, so that they could be studied. So like those skeletons, the full skeleton, they used to be real. These are who articulators are. He would send his murdered victims to an articulator. That articulator would articulate those bones of those bodies, send it back to him, and then he would make a profit by selling them to universities all around the country.
That's insane.
It's wild. And I'm not. This whole story is not to talk about H.H. Holmes, although I think you should go check him out. And actually, there's two rumors. Well, there's a rumor that there's a movie being made about this, or a series being developed about him. But the rumors are that it's either going to be Keanu Reeves playing H.H. Holmes or Leonardo DiCaprio. Those are the two people that, when you look up information,
I don't think Leonardo DiCaprio should do it.
Can I say that I can tell you the answer to that?
Which is what?
So it was a Scorsese. So DiCaprio's who bought the rights is a Scorsese and DiCaprio project. Initially going to be a film. They decided to make it a TV show. Hulu was set to, fund it for an 8-episode thing. Keanu Reeves is who they wanted to star, but that never coalesced, and Hulu has since dropped it, so it has no home now. So the rights.
If you want to develop this,
the rights are still owned by DiCaprio. DiCaprio and Scorsese still want to see it happen.
Is this
but
like for
doesn't have a home?
Is this like specifically for the rights to The Devil in the White City, or like a story about H.H. Holmes?
Probably.
I mean, I assume
Holmes.
it's attached to like a specific book or something. But the idea is that DiCaprio's who has the rights for it. He's had the rights for, I think, like 20-something years now.
Well, then it's not The Devil in White City, because this book I don't think is that old.
Okay.
But,
well, he's had the rights for a while and has been unable to see it actually get turned into a project.
Which is wild, because this story is incredibly intriguing. And
sure.
Reading about it, hearing and seeing different things, it is ripe for to be told as a series. But this isn't about that. This is an architecture deal, but it just was so tasty that I felt like I needed to let you guys in on that. But let me tell you some of the architectural influences that came from the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Now, the other title for the thing, it wasn't actually called the World's Fair. It has an official title, and the official title is the 1893 Chicago World's Columbian Exposition. And that's because it was the whole fair was done in tribute to the 400th anniversary of Columbus landing in the Americas, setting sail to the Americas and his journey there. So there's this big, massive. They built canals, like they constructed canals and large lakes that they constructed to make this thing happen. They had 3 years to build this from the time they were awarded the rights to be able to have the thing be done in Chicago. They had 3 years to put this together. But it was the Columbian Exposition. And so a lot of the stuff that you see in there is themed to push to that journey of Columbus, and it was meant to be a celebration of that. And so a couple of things that you would see in terms of architecture, that's where we see a lot of neoclassical. If you go back and look, a lot of the archways, a lot of the domed buildings, the columns are all the stucco work are all very much neoclassically inspired. And there were I want to say 40 or more architects and designers brought in to help build over 200 buildings, most of which were temporary, just meant to be used for the fair and then to be deconstructed, and those parts were meant to be sold off to different industries or whatever. So there was a lot of building that had to take place. They essentially built a whole city inside of their city. And a couple things that you need to hear about. This was only a few years after the Eiffel Tower, which was kind of the big architectural industrial kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just like this monolith of, I can't think of the right word right now, but it was kind
monument?
But sure, but it was kind of the thing to beat. Right, as an architectural kind of thing. So
plus it's sorry, go ahead.
Well, they actually reached out to I can't remember his first name, but Eiffel. They actually reached out to Eiffel initially. He actually bid to be part of this World's Fair showcase, but ultimately they went with somebody else, a man by the name of George Ferris, who you may know from the wheel fame, because in 1893. George Ferris built the world's first Ferris wheel, and it was massive. It had 36 cars. Each car could hold, I think, up to 200 people, and they essentially looked like big street cars, but they were fastened sideways to this wheel, and the wheel was spun using steam. It was this wild feat of engineering. But the Ferris wheel made its debut in Chicago in 1893, and then the other thing that made its debut, at least its public debut, was a moving sidewalk down by the docks. You could get a view of the exhibitions and the view of the water by riding this moving sidewalk that would go down to the end of the pier and then go around and come back. It was essentially like a catwalk, but it was a moving sidewalk, much like what you see now in airports and things like that, but this was the first time that it was being used publicly. They also had benches you could sit on to take the whole thing in while sitting, which I thought was a really interesting thing. But it was just this absolutely just over the top extravagance of building and the world kind of coming together. The whole thing took place from May 5th. It was supposed to start in May 1st, but it was actually delayed a couple days. May 5th. Patrick, you know anything about that date?
Heard about
I
it?
didn't want to interfere with Star Wars Day.
May 5th, 1893, and was supposed to go till the end of October. So this is like a 3 month, May, June, July, August, September, October. 5 month. Thank you. I don't know why I thought 3 months. As soon as I said it, it sounded wrong. But it was supposed to go to the end of October. However, which we all know would be October 31st. However, the person doing the scheduling didn't pay attention to didn't realize that the month of October had 31 days, and they scheduled the closing of it to be October 30th. So they lost out on a whole final day to send this thing out. However, the ending of this thing actually never did have the closing ceremonies for this, where they were going to bring out, they had three, the Pinta, the Nina, and the Santa Maria. They had them reconstructed.
Columbus's ships, yeah.
Yep, Columbus's ships, and they had a whole scene planned out of when he came with the Native Americans and with his his crew, and they had this whole scene planned out to play out in the main harbor of Jackson Park, which was this massive water area in the center of this of the World's Fair. But 2 days before the end of the fair, the mayor of Chicago, who was doing a speech in the morning, gave a really kind of rallied speech and kind of called some people out. Later that evening, was shot and killed in his home, and so the final 2 days, they decided to not do any of the closing ceremonies. Instead, they did like a memorial service essentially, and everybody was in mourning and in grieving.
So
for the last 2 days.
Chicago has always been Chicago.
Chicago is a rough place, man. It's crazy. But I will say, in terms of architecture, you can go back now and you can see there's a handful of pieces that are still being used, that are still actually in its original location. Lots of the things that were built for the World's Fair are actually being reused all over the world, but it has scattered pieces, have been sold off or moved to different cities, countries, states, whatever. But there are a handful of things. The Apex building, essentially, which is the domed building that you see when you look up the White City, that is still there. It's now a museum. It's like the Museum of Science and Industry or something like that. So, or Arts and Sciences, I don't remember. But a lot of that architecture has been sadly gone. They deconstructed it almost immediately after the fair ended in 1893, and it's wild to see. But I'm excited to go back to Chicago. The only time I've been to Chicago was several years ago. I'm excited to go back and actually go to Jackson Park and go into this building and realize so much history has happened in this particular place, and so much there's just handfuls of things that made their world debut at this place, and just knowing all the history behind it now is just absolutely intriguing to me. So Devil in White City, if you want to get like an entertainment value out of this, as well as some really cool history, that's what I would say you should pick up. It's a long book, but I think it's absolutely worth it. All right, Patrick.
Not a bad thing.
What do you got for us?
That book is, real quick, I want to throw this out there. I believe that book is 21 years old.
So maybe this is about that.
So just throwing that out there. Okay.
When I looked up the book, I've seen that cover before for sure.
Yeah. By the way, if you had to pick a ship, Nina, Pinta, or Santa Maria, which one do you assume is the best ship?
I would say the Santa Maria.
Santa Maria, yeah.
That's Santa Maria, right? Like, we all know that. And
There's
I don't
two
know what any of the
names.
ships look like. But, like, I've always
It was
thought...
actually a dinghy. The other two were, like, massive.
But I've always thought, like, that
It's like
must
goes
be
in
the
order
best
of
ship.
biggest to smallest. Yeah.
Yeah, but why? Like, it's so
I
arbitrary.
don't know.
But
like, that
I
has
agree
to
with
be,
you, and so does Lauren.
That has to be the one you would want to get on.
I think this is one of only a handful of times in the history of the show that
Yeah,
all
we
three
all
of the hosts
agree.
have agreed with something.
It has... You're for sure not going to get on a Pinta because it sounds like pinto bean, and no one likes pinto beans.
It also sounds like other things.
Like what?
There's no way
So
to-
anyway, all right. My category. We're talking toys. This is going to be a quick toys because, like I said, Star Citizen. It's calling me. It's calling me. May the 4th. We Andrew mentioned. I said we. I sound French, like Gustave Eiffel. All right. Andrew mentioned May the 5th. That's my birthday. You can send me things, but I'm going to talk about the day before, which
It's
is May
also
the 4th.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Free Margarita Day, but May the 4th.
Where are the free margaritas? Tell
By
me.
the way, I have this weird memory.
It's just because Mackenzie makes them and hands them to Patrick.
No,
I
Mackenzie.
see.
Mackenzie will remember this, but we were at a Mexican restaurant. This was in Chattanooga, and that waiter was hell bent on her getting free margaritas. Like there was like a buy one get one, but she didn't want more margaritas, but he like just brought him out anyway, as though he was trying to like liquor her up. And I mean, I was there, I wasn't stopping it,
She
but
just
it was
wants to
just
get her like she wants to make sure that gets her full value of margarita.
no. It was honestly, it was very very kind, but it was a very perplexing situation. Okay, May the 4th, Lego today sent out their emails announcing what they're doing for Star Wars Day. And they have several new sets, but the big one is the kind of re-release, although it's not a new release. I'm sorry, a re-release. It is a new ship, but it's a TIE Interceptor. So they initially released a TIE Interceptor back in 2010, I believe. That's when they first released like these like Black Series, Collector Series, like Lego sets. So this was a while ago. And now they're releasing a new TIE Interceptor. It's a fairly large guy. So this is 12 and a half inches high, 16 inches long, and 13 inches wide. So it's about 2,000 pieces. It looks like a TIE Interceptor. Just so you know, if this doesn't ring a bell to you, TIE Fighter, that's the classic one. TIE Interceptor one, that's the Ferrari of TIE Fighters. Okay, that's like the sleek one. It's the one that's got like the speed. It's got the aerodynamics to it.
It's the cruiser of the motorcycles.
It's the No, cruiser kind of says it's. So some people say cruiser and they mean Goldwing, and some people say cruiser and they mean like the big Harley or something.
I mean like the ones where you just sit back and you can ride across the country and you don't get off and your butt and legs hurt. Because it's just so cushy. Like it's just big and
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Jedi describes it as the coolest looking shops in all of Star Wars, although I don't think they sold anything. So it's an odd way to describe it. But anyway, TIE Interceptor's coming out. It comes with a TIE Pilot and a little mouse droid. If you don't remember the mouse droids, they are the small Apple Pros that would roll around on the ground. They just look like a black box with some fins on the top.
I think if you like, just do the mental math of like which droid in Star Wars is probably the mouse droid, you'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah. And but in addition to this, so this is the large Lego set that's coming out now. It's $300, which in the world of Lego seems like a deal because a lot of us imagine like the premium, especially Star Wars sets, being like $800 sets, like the Millennium Falcon. This is not that case. That said, Lego is not the value that it once was, so it's still a bit pricey. But the big piece this year, instead of going for the ever increasing like piece count, and instead of trying to outdo the last Millennium Falcon, which is what we saw with one of their last, with the Destroyer, exactly. They've chosen to go this way with the Interceptor, so it's $299. One of the other pieces, again, there's several others, but one of the other more notable ones is there is a pod race diorama, however you want to say that's coming out. And then there's some other smaller sets as well. Like there's a small Millennium Falcon. There's
it's a small Millennium Falcon like diorama, isn't it? It's like part of their diorama set.
It's just a Millennium Falcon on a base. It doesn't have any scenery around it.
Okay, but it has that same vibe as the dioramas. Like it like
does.
Everything's truncated and it's like you have to use your imagination just a little bit.
And it could fit in it scale wise. It seems like a similar scale to the other dioramas. I will say that in terms of the stickering that they do and the pieces that they do, it seems like a much more accurate representation at that scale than you get with some of like for instance, the blue and white one they have that's like the mid-size one doesn't feel as like, it doesn't feel like it has the lines that this one has. So this one actually ends up looking very, very good for the size. They also have some special gifts. So if you spend over a certain amount or if you buy anything, they have, I think, 3 different gifts as well. So a lot of stuff coming out with the May the 4th release. So if that's exciting to you, then hey, it's exciting to me, and it's available to pre-order now. Look for the email or look it up on their website.
I'm looking at the like pod race one, and I do think this is pretty cool, but I wish that like in the future they would make like ones that like click in and like continue the race, like you could have like different pod racers on different ones and they connect.
Oh, and
that'd
like
be very
actually
cool.
like swap them out. Yeah,
that would be super cool.
Get one with Sebulba in there.
Yeah.
So this is Kate Dykstra just said this is the pod racing one's probably because of the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, which reminded me that in preparation for the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, in our city anyway, they're doing an all-day 9-movie marathon at
Oh yeah, my
Santikos.
friend and I saw that. Yeah.
It starts
Too many.
It starts at 6 a.m.
I'll go with you.
on a Saturday morning.
We
and
seriously
it
did
ends,
debate this.
It ends at 5 a.m. the next day. You
Yeah.
go for a ticket for $100. You can see all 9 movies. You can come and go as you please. You get a large popcorn bucket and a large drink that are refillable all throughout the day, and you get like a commemorative
nice.
poster or something like that. I
Okay.
am considering it.
Look how excited
so
Mackenzie
me
is.
and
She
my
said
friends actually-
Absolutely
now.
now. I've got to see
Wait.
these movies.
I'm shocked, but like we really thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I would be down to try and watch all these movies in order at my house. I don't want to do it in a movie theater where
But
I
hold
can't
on.
like go to the bathroom whenever I want, have whatever food I want, whatever I want to drink. Like,
You can go to the bathroom whenever you want.
The time doesn't make sense to me. Based on the number of hours you just said, you could start it at midnight and be done by 11 p.m. on the same day. Why not just run it like people show up at midnight? I don't understand this running it till 5 a.m. the next morning.
I don't know. That's a great thought, but that's not.
there
how
might
they're
be
doing it.
like a half-hour gap between movies or something. That's
Well, sure,
But-
yeah. There's a slight gap between each movie, but what Patrick's saying is that same time frame could just be shifted from a midnight watch to a.
And then it's a single day
yeah,
marathon.
You could start whenever you wanted. Yeah.
And I feel like mentally as a watcher, I'd rather get there late, kind of wake up during the first 3, and then be present for the rest of them, and then be able to sleep in my bed before midnight that night. Like that mentally
Except
feels
this
better
way,
to
you're
me.
most likely to sleep through the sequel series, which is probably the best case scenario.
Whoa! I don't agree with that. So I was considering doing this, and
If I could have like a still suit from Dune, let's talk. But
you can have whatever you want if you want to make it. It'll just be made out of foam.
yeah, I need a
felt.
functional one.
I was considering doing this for this specific reason. I've never seen the 3 original films on screen.
What?
I've never seen them on screen before.
That's surprising
I've-
because I have.
Yeah, I
So,
went and saw
I've
them the
seen-
first time in theaters when they re-released them.
when
Same.
they re-released them with the added stuff.
Yeah, they
The
will
new
add the stuff in the one you're
Shockwave
going to
and
see
the-
now.
Yeah.
But I don't know
And the
that
Jabba the Hutt scene.
The way that I read the email, it made it sound like it was the original cut of these films. Like not the
They
extended.
almost always show the
not the extended versions.
what do they call it? Like the enhanced version or whatever.
Well, that's different then, because I want to see the original films in theaters. Like I would love to see that. If someone's got a DVD of the original ones before they made all the changes and things
I
like
don't
that.
think
Once
they
it came
actually
out
exist
prior
on
to
DVD.
DVD.
Yeah, it has to. It like.
Listen, but there's copies of the original that are on DVD.
But
have-
are
they have-
there? I think that's Lauren's question is like, are there? Like, is it
No,
possible?
I don't think. I think I looked this up that there are not copies of Star Wars like like
possible
4
the
through
studio
6
didn't allow
that has
it.
the like non-enhanced one. There are VHS tapes that
Okay.
have it. The
If
original
someone has a
one.
VHS
Yes.
tape of this, then I would be willing to go and rent out the theater myself just to watch
Mm-hmm.
these on the screen, because I've seen the ones I have seen in theaters are the ones that have been enhanced, and like that's fine. But I would love to get the original movies like the way that they were.
Was the Who Shot
shown.
First scenario in the enhanced ones?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it was.
They don't take out the scene.
No. But he's asking like they fix it in the enhanced ones.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that
okay.
it's more obvious that like
That
Greedo shot first and that Han is retaliating,
in
so
the
he's
original
a good guy.
The original the original
Han just seemed like a
controversy.
jerk.
Right. The
Yeah.
original controversy
But he
came
starts
from
a
the
jerk.
original run because he shot
Hans-
first. Han
Have any
killed
of you
him
seen
before
the
getting shot at.
Swedish version with Hans Olo?
Classic.
Yes, it's like Spaceballs.
Jedi says he has them. All right, so let's.
Okay,
Jedi's
Jedi
gonna
says
ship
a
them.
lot of things.
That's
He
true,
also
does.
says he has like some first release Mickey Lorcana card, but I've never seen it.
I know when clearly that should be in the mail headed to me. And so, but anyway, so
Belongs to me.
I've considered going. Yeah, that's part of our VHS conference.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm in for it. The
It
VHS summer
belongs in a
camp.
museum.
VHS summer camp. Cool. All right. Well, if that's gonna be it, then let's roll some dice before we head out of this episode.
We're gonna roll dice, but
Yeah,
chat, start throwing in your weird movie selections. I want to start seeing some weird. So weirdest movie you've seen. Go ahead and just throw it in chat.
For a second, I forgot what dice we needed.
VHS conference.
Green dice or yellow dice? Which one
Yellow.
should I go for yellow. Okay.
Yellow. Although both are master's colors, and I appreciate that. 9 and 3.
I rolled nicely. Okay. You said a 9 is your category number?
Yeah, 9's mine.
Tech.
Tech, great.
Sweet. And I rolled a 17 and a 1. So I've passed again.
Okay. 17 is TV, and I got a 16, which will be film.
So I've got past TV.
And I got a
great.
3, so present film.
Okay. No, that's future.
So sorry, future film.
Yes.
My bad.
All right, Patrick, we've dropped some things in there for you.
See, we
I
got-
was trying to think of this movie that I was trying to think that instantly popped in my head as the weirdest movie that I've seen, and I can no longer confirm that it is a real movie, and more research needs to be done.
You think you dreamed it?
No, I think
Is it
that I might have the
Shazam?
wrong title for the movie that I'm thinking of, but I can't quite find it yet. But I know that it's real because I don't think I would have made this up.
It's not
Miami
Shazam. It's
Connection,
Kazam.
The Fall.
Kazam.
Step Up the Streets.
Wait,
sure.
I'm
and
reading because are
Bruce.
you talking about The Fall, like the Tarsem movie? Because The Fall is like my actual favorite movie.
Malignant. Thank you for the follow, XS Burrito. Malignant. We saw that together, didn't we, Andrew?
Malignant.
I think Mother would be up there on one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
I don't know that we watched it together, but I for sure have seen it. That's a pretty weird one. It's the one that takes place like in the mine or like the old railroad system or whatever. Malignant. Yes.
No, Malignant was the one with the twin on the back of the head.
I know
that movie
but
was
they're
great.
in like a museum. They're in like a museum, like an old timey museum that's part of like a cave system or something. Yes, that one's strange.
No, it's not like they're not like in caves or anything. This is like a modern setting. But
I
there's,
know.
Like, okay, sorry.
But it's in like it's in a museum
Oh, I
of one of
know.
these things. It's like a
That-
either
That had
Monica.
That had you my sandwich vibes just then.
My sandwich? No, I felt like it was
that's-
more Monica, more Monica than it was Ross. But it was definitely a Geller. I'm with you on the.
It was definitely a Geller. So I have to think. My answer to this, number 1 is probably Happiness. Number 2 or
Happiness.
or number 2 could be Happiness. Or the other one that's between is that in a Running Scared, not the comedy from the 80s, but the cringy. Mackenzie agrees with me. It was Ross, but not cringy. I got distracted. The like grungy, dark and grungy, whatever film. Those two they went some places. So those are probably the weirdest. I do also remember watching Requiem of a Dream for the first time and being kind of like,
Oh, that's a good movie though. It's
a good
It is
movie.
undeniably weird, I guess, but yeah.
but it's for sure got some weirdness in it. So
What's the one? It's an A24 film where at the end they
I
they
said Mother.
It's not Mother because Mother is weird, but there's a
I was like, that was one of the ones that popped.
there's
in
a
my head.
horror film. It's A24. It's not Heritage. It's
Hereditary.
Hereditary. Hereditary is a wildly strange film to me.
A lot of horror films I think are weird. I haven't even seen
Yeah.
it, but that movie where I think it's an A24 movie where the couple like have the little lamb child that's like just like a human body with a lamb's face. That looks so weird.
I need to see her again because we're I think from a technology standpoint we're now basically like getting into her territory.
We're about
So-
2 years away from Lucy.
I want to watch it
Yeah.
again. Oh my god.
That's a throwback
The
to
Lighthouse
Patrick of like
pick.
season of like year 2 of us doing this podcast.
Let me say this about Lighthouse.
That was maybe Patrick's first soapbox was about the film Lucy.
Let me say this about Lighthouse. I wouldn't put it in my top weird films. I found the film to be very claustrophobic. Between the like almost the, I don't know if it was like 4x4, 4x3 or whatever the aspect ratio was, between that, it being dark, there were weird things happening. Something about it just made me feel like uneasy. And
I think
like
it was
closed
intended
in
to.
the whole time.
I think it was supposed to make you feel the way that they were supposed to, right? Like,
Yeah.
It made you feel like them, and they felt claustrophobic, and they felt trapped and confined, and it ultimately sent them crazy.
So I think it's probably a good film. But I walked out for part of it.
Did you see my Island of Dr. Moreau? That's
I missed
truly
it.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
that's what's the guy's name who was in the Ten Commandments? Marlon Brando.
Moses.
Marlon Brando was one of his
Yeah, you know,
oldest-
that's him. You're right. Yeah. It's him and Aaron were both involved, I'm sure.
That was a very well. That's fine. I'll say it off air. So the Island of Dr. Moreau was probably one of the first films that I saw that was truly like, what did I just watch? I watched that with my dad because he was a big Marlon Brando fan. But it was have you seen it?
No.
There's
No,
like
I've never seen that movie.
animal people on this island, and they're like genetically bred, like people with animals, and it's one of Marlon Brando's final films. He was not in great shape for this film. It may have been his actual last film. I don't remember.
That sounds a little bit like Poor Things.
Maybe it is. I didn't watch Poor Things, so maybe it is.
I looked
Another
up Altered
horror
State, and
movie
I just found the
you-
women's clothing thing, Altered State, which I'm pretty sure Mackenzie loves.
I don't think I've seen Altered State.
So what was your like what were you driving at with this? You were just curious? You wanted to know what people's answers were?
Complete curiosity. There was nothing was being driven at other than just wanted to hear from the community.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Mackenzie, you don't. Well, that's fine. It's actually good that you don't know what it is. That's positive.
I do not.
I actually don't know what she's saying. I do not too.
You know what movie
Troll
was
2?
weird?
Oh yeah, the troll movies are for sure.
Troll 2, that is a classic. But that one's
Yeah.
so it's literally called the best worst film, right? Like,
Yeah, because it is just
But
like
is that retroactive,
so
or was
bad.
that in the moment?
oh, that's definitely
I mean, it's
retroactive.
accidentally bad
Yeah.
for sure.
It's
They-
kind of like the Room, right?
Yes, they live in this weird category of like accidentally bad movies where like they genuinely did try so hard to make a good movie, and that's what makes it like endearing now. Like
Oh, hi, Mark. Yeah.
Oh, there
I
was a
think
There was a Left Behind film, right?
There
That
was.
one.
Oh
yeah.
my
It's-
gosh,
I haven't
yeah.
even
It
seen
starred-
it, but I
starred
can.
Kirk Cameron.
I'm positive it would be on my top list.
I remember I read like the first 3 of those books, I think, and saw
Are
the
we
movie,
just talking
and I was
about
like,
bad
I'm done.
movies now or strange movies? Because
no,
Yeah,
no,
well,
it's
yeah.
it's supposed to be weird. It's
Okay,
supposed
Okay,
to
I was
be weird.
I would just
Here's a
brought
weird
this up like recently. Have you guys seen the movie The Platform? That's a super weird movie where like it's the premise is like people are in this like perpetual prison that has like 300 floors or something like that, and there's like a platform that has food on it, and like at the top there's a ton of food, and
and
like
it goes
you have
down.
yeah, and like the people
Yeah.
have as much like 2 minutes to eat as much food as they can, and then the platform's going to go down until the next day. So like the people at the top eat a ton of food, and the people who are at the very bottom have nothing to eat. And the
wow.
whole movie centers around that concept.
I would say it's
insane.
a very ham-fisted. It's capitalism, the movie.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yes.
in a very
Yeah.
on the
But it
nose
was really
way.
scary and actually kind
Oh,
of
sure.
I remember this movie pretty vividly.
Becca never watched this movie. All right, I think that movie is intended to drive people to have scarcity mindset.
Okay, listen. I have
So
one more. I
Don't
have
watch this movie.
one more for weird, and then I'm done, and we can end this.
Wait, no, I have
But
a weird one too. So you say
Okay.
your weird one, and then I'll say mine.
Barton Fink. Listen, the 80% of the movie, not weird. Great, super into it, loving it. The Coen brothers can very nearly do no wrong. But there is a moment in that film, and if you've seen the film, you know the moment, the fly hit, and then from that movie on, how did we get here? It is the most bizarre, weird shift. Like, that is one of those moments that like movies that in the moment I was just thinking like, what the fuck? Like, am I dreaming this? Is this like some like middle state between awake and asleep that I'm experiencing? Is this actually the film? Did I get a weird copy of this film? It was so odd to me when it happened. Barton Fink.
I have actually
Fair
two other weird ones. One that's weird, and I would say bad, but most people don't say it's bad, so I get that. But that's Sorry to Bother You.
I knew you were gonna say it. I knew it. I knew it. I was like, it's one of the two. Sorry to bother
I wasn't
you.
gonna say it until Patrick said there was like that movie Barton Fink where there was like a major shift. I think the movie is at least very weird, right? I think no one's gonna argue with me that it's
No, I
not.
won't
Yeah.
argue.
So
But
it's a weird movie. And then the other one is maybe a little bit more controversial because it's Nope. With that new film by
Jordan Peele.
by Jordan Peele. That film is very, very strange to me.
I liked that movie, but I had to like think about it a lot. Like I didn't like it right when I walked out of the theater.
I didn't hate it either. This isn't like on the same level as some of the other ones that I've said. Like I hated
We know how you feel about.
Sorry to bother
no,
you.
no,
Yeah.
no. I hated The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Mm-hmm.
Like genuinely. That's why that was the first film that came to mind when you asked this question. But this movie I didn't hate, and I still don't hate. It's just very strange. When you think about the fact that this movie that everyone now knows is about extraterrestrials, right? It's about so Nope stands for Not of Planet Earth. So it's about aliens. But the movie starts with a up close shot of a chimpanzee wearing a party hat covered in blood. And like it's like, that's how the film starts. So
Which was based on a real event, right?
I don't think so, no.
The chimp attacking someone during
While they were filming a TV show?
Yeah, I thought that was based on a real story.
No, I think that whole thing is, it looks like it is. They make it out to be it's a real story, and they have like old footage of this television show, but I think it's all fictional. I think it's all fictional.
I think there's like instances of chimpanzees like attacking people. I think but I don't know.
But not
in
not
this
to
like
extent.
sitcom setting or whatever.
So-
Yeah, that's
that movie's really strange. It's definitely weird, but it feels weird in a more artsy way than maybe some of these other films that were also weird in maybe artsy ways, but it was not art that I got.
So it's based on a real attack, but not that happened on a TV show. But it is based on a real attack that happened.
Well, sure. I mean, chimpanzees are known to kind of like snap. And
I'm just all I'm saying is that it does have, not that that's the point of this, but it does have basis from something other than what if we had an animal attack somebody. That's all. That's the only point I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you've not seen that movie, you should go see it because hopefully we've just intrigued you. And if you've not seen The Island of Dr. Moreau, that's fine. You don't need to.
There's a lot of movies that like when we were kids, like I think like Neverending Story is unabashedly weird, but I love how weird it is. And I definitely like didn't know that was like a real movie for a long time. So I'm like, yeah, the one with the like talking rock monsters, that movie, like no one knew what I was talking about for the longest time.
Really?
Like,
I feel like everybody watched that movie when that movie came out. So like it was like everybody.
I must have not like remembered the wrong parts of it, like because I was so young when I saw it the first time, and I like would try and
the
describe
movie with
parts.
the library.
I would try and describe parts of it, and people were like, I think you
Pagemaster.
made this up.
Wait, what was the TV show?
They do have a
with
lot
the
in common
Singing
with like
Rocks?
little boy gets sucked into books. Like,
Singing Rocks on the TV show?
Wasn't there a TV show?
Fraggle Rock?
are you thinking of Fraggle Rock? Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what
Which
you're
is
talking
getting
about?
rebooted right now on HBO. Go Fraggle Rock.
Is it getting rebooted or is it the second season of that of the reboot? I think it's second season of the reboot.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
I saw like coming soon or whatever, like when I saw the advertisement. I was like, I
Speaking
did not
of-
know this was like back. Thank you.
Speaking of reboots and the Neverending Story, the Neverending Story is getting a series reboot.
Who's making it? And
I don't remember,
is it
but
a
I
TV
remember.
series?
I remember reading it. It's like a limited series, like a limited series on one of these streaming platforms.
I really
I'm
want
not
to read
sure
the
which one
book
it
for
is.
that. I never have. I'm sure that it's good.
Well, because you'll never finish it. Okay.
Do you ever
What did
feel
the-
like you live on the island of Dr. Morose? All right, continue.
Morose. I think
there's
that's
like a
going to
list
be
of movies
it.
like that.
for this episode. So you can find show notes and links to everything we talked about over at mof1.network. While you're there, you can find just a cornucopia of episodes from the decade that we've been doing this. So go give something a listen and give it a share. While you're there, join the Slack channel. That's that little hashtag logo. And you can be part of the conversation throughout the day. Drop some, what do you call those? Reviews? That's what you call them. Drop some reviews and ratings wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, just so you know, we're number 70 in design in New Zealand.
Speaking of that, I met someone 2 weeks ago from Moldova. Can you believe that?
And were they like one of the many MF1 listeners in Moldova?
I was too nervous to ask. He is an exchange student, a foreign exchange student with somebody. And I told the house family, like the hosting family, I told them about how funny that was. That had they told me that he was from Moldova 6 months ago, I would have no idea what that is. But that we're huge in Moldova.
We've been following your progress with great intrigue.
He said that he was going to ask if he listens to our podcast. So I just thought that it was a little too thirsty for me to ask. So leave those ratings, reviews, and thank you, New Zealand, for really showing up and supporting the show. We knew that you Kiwis, we do it for you. That's who.
Be careful what you say, really, because I would say that
Kiwis, I think, is safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Whew.
I think they call themselves Kiwis.
It's their
That's
national
just a cute,
bird.
nice thing.
Yeah.
But if we're not
I
sure,
think we're
let's
fine.
just stay away from it.
I would be
I'm about
happy to be called a Kiwi.
95% sure we're fine, but I do agree. If I'm not 100% sure, then maybe we should just.
I do know what they will respond to.
New Zealanders.
Screw you, New Zealanders. They love that.
The lesser of Australians. Now we've lost them. We've lost.
I just think of that thing from Flight of the Conchords where Murray has the poster, New Zealand, better than Old Zealand.
Brit?
Murray, present?
Present? Yeah, I was waiting for someone to say present.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I think we said everything that there is to say. So I think for now, watch us on Twitch. Be here live. Join us for that. Next week is going to be something a little bit different, everybody.
Yes.
We're going to be streaming for the first time part of our campaign from the Land of Oz. So if you've been interested at all in what our campaign looks like that we've been going on with Sir Andrew Kolb
For years.
Goodness. We've kept our personal story in the shadows for all of these years, and we're gonna rip off that veil for next week. And so if you want to just hop in and be a fly on the wall of that story, we're gonna hit the stream button and we're just gonna go. And you're gonna get to meet Homer.
We're on session 15-ish. So
we're deep in. You're gonna get to meet Homer. You're gonna get to meet what's my character's name?
I was like,
all I can remember
You're
is
Tippy.
I'm Tippy. Thank you. All I could think of was Kazig, but that's another story.
That's a different
another
one.
story.
And then your character is Riff, right, Lauren?
Mm-hmm.
It's always an R. It's Riff or Rin. But Riff or Rin.
Not all of my characters, just those two.
But you'll get to meet us as we go and we do some fun things. So join us next week for that. That's only here on Twitch. So twitch.tv/MF1 podcast. If you regularly listen to the show but don't tune in live, next week's a special one. So maybe just tune in for that. It's going to be a good one. Otherwise, you can see us on social at MF1 podcast and all the platforms. We're going to get out of here for now, though. My name's Andrew.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Patrick.
It's gonna be time for us to peace out now.
Adios.
Okay, bye.
I knew you couldn't just be
There's
fun.
no fun.
You couldn't just be fun for
I will
a
say,
second.
so for D&D next week, so number one, Bezos Bucks people, make sure you turn those in. Okay, we're gonna take roll next week, and if you haven't turned it in, then we're gonna have to call your parents. I don't know what else to do.
There's a new method for getting your Bezos Bucks in, and so I believe a lot of us, our subscription turns over this week, and so now's the time to reinstate it.
So I will say for the D&D thing next week, you will be watching the campaign. It is not an interactive campaign. Just gonna set up some expectations for our regulars.
Yep.
So I will be monitoring chat, but outside of that, I wouldn't expect anyone else. Like, no one else is going to be watching chat. No one else is going to be watching the stream. We're just
And you're not going to be
playing-
addressing anything that's in chat.
Won't be addressing things in chat. We're just playing our normal game. Basically, the way our scheduling worked, Monday was one of the only days we could do it, and we didn't want to like not podcast, so we're just opening the window so you can peek inside. But that's like kind of the thing that's happening.
But there's
So,
some exciting stuff happening in our campaign in the world
Yeah.
of Oz. So
Yeah.
There's not going to
couldn't
be an
a better
intro.
time.
Probably not going to contextualize it very much.
We did some
gonna
fighting
happen.
recently, so there won't be any.
Yeah.
We did some team fighting a few weeks ago. Some
Yeah.
actual
We
fighting.
rolled initiative. What?
We did some teen fighting. We just beat up little
Just beat
kids.
up a bunch of pre
Yeah.
and tweens. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I do want to read this this text from your mom that came in a long time ago. Remember when I did the Southern accent and then apologized to all of our Southern listeners?
Yes.
Your mom said that apology didn't sound serious. I'm sorry. Your mom said
You are
that
called
apology didn't sound serious. So there you go.
Don't
love
tell me
that.
she didn't put like a honey on there or something.
She, after I acknowledged it, she did 2 laugh crying face emojis. So
Okay, good.
yeah. So me and Carol
Alright.
are good. We're square, I think.
Hey, Will. Psst, Will. It's time.
It's time
All
to go
right.
get starry. Enjoy your
Star
evening,
citizen.
fellas.
Yes.
Have fun. Hey, Patrick, have fun suckling at the very generous.
He will love that.
Bye.
Adios.
Yeah, I'm turning up the music. It got really loud for a second. Don't worry about it. They're gonna keep waving. Look at them. Look how cool they look. Not them. I'm seeing some other people. All right,
He's watching a video.
to the